Welcome to Aloha Friday drip number. Who the f- knows? But we're here, dude. Aloha and Aloha Friday, and it is Friday.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
What's
day out
tomorrow, dude?
there. Tomorrow we're running a Spartan race.
We're doing it.
We're running the beast.
We are.
How many miles?
13.1. Half marathon.
When was the last time you ran 13 miles?
0 times.
I've never.
I've done it 0 times.
Bro, do you want to know how many miles I've ran? Probably the most in my life.
Like in one run. How long?
Maybe 5, maybe 6. I don't. Maybe
Dude,
I don't even know.
That's way more than me.
But you know what? We're getting it, man.
Dude, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
good.
fun. It's talking with Nico and Strat about it. It's a total mindset test. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
It's not timed. It's about getting it completed and completing it. So I'm excited about it.
But it's like, Ty, you got so much going on because I'm going straight from there to Vegas and then from Vegas to San Diego to Oakland. She's like, you got so much going on. Like, if you're going to cut something, you just want to cut the Spartan race? I was like, I can't do what? I can't cut the Spartan race.
No.
Cut all the other shit out, dude.
Right on, dude. So, yeah, that's this weekend. We will definitely return and report on how that went.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Hopefully, maybe we die. I don't know.
No, maybe we do. Maybe. I told Strat to get the wheelchair ready for afterwards.
Dude, I'm going to have the freaking Theragun. Oh, I need to put that on my packing list. Theragun, Deep Blue.
Don't you have the suction cup things too?
Oh, yeah.
That
Suction
might
cups,
be good to
Band-Aids.
pack. Yeah. Ace bandages.
Yeah.
Neosporin.
Yes.
Got a first aid kit. You've packed the first aid kit, which is important.
I love it. All right, man. What did we talk? Well, first off, last drip, we talked about how
Why am I drawing a blank, dude? I'm drawing a blank.
poor or prideful.
The poor pride. Such a powerful episode.
It was.
It was a great episode.
What's your biggest takeaway from that episode? I'm putting you on the spot right now.
No, dude, there was a lot to take away from that. But the poor is pride. I mean, it's a complete mindset. I think a lot of the time, I think that was probably my biggest takeaway from that episode is poor is a mindset. And it can leak into those decisions that you make. You know what I mean? So when Ty's talking about the poor is prideful, it's because when you're poor and you're thinking in that mentality and that mindset, all you're thinking about is you.
Yeah.
You. You play the victim game. You get that victim mentality. So yeah, that was probably my biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
Is to always have that rich, abundant mindset, whether you have the funds.
Yeah.
And again, one of the biggest takeaways too was poor and wealthy a lot of times has nothing to do with money.
Yes.
You know
That's
what
exactly what I was going to say.
It has nothing to do with money. It's the mindset of it all.
Yep. But if you have an abundant, wealthy mindset, it's a great chance that you have abundance of wealth as well.
You attract
money.
it. Yeah. If you have that mindset, you attract it for sure.
Yep. Okay, what are we talking about today?
So, dude, one of the things that we kind of mentioned last week was you were at the Grant Cardone event. You were in a $2 billion room.
2B.
Yeah. So, dude, I wanted to talk about that. The power of being in a $2 billion room.
Yeah.
Is there any
That's a great title. The power of a $2 billion room. The $2 billion room. The power of $2 billion. I don't know.
Do you think it was $2 billion or do you think it was more?
Oh, it was more including Grant.
Yeah,
dude, that wasn't including. That was only including like the people in the room.
Attendees.
None of Grant's none of Grant's partners. Just the 30-something people that were there.
It's awesome.
That's it.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. So, dude, where did you find the most value there?
Whew.
I know that's kind of a loaded question, but there was obviously a lot of things and a lot of trainings and a lot of. But yeah, dude, what was the most value that you took away from that event? Or being in that room.
You want to know? It's funny. Okay, so different than you probably may expect. Okay. I've loved Grant for a long time. I think Grant is hilarious, dude. I think he's an ass kicker. I think that a lot of times people think and view him in a way that they think he's arrogant. They think he's prideful. I've never got that from Grant. I really swear to God, I have not. I just think he's funny as shit, dude. I love how he just says what he thinks, and he is who he is. I love that.
Yeah.
So I was excited to go in and learn from Grant, but I'll tell you your question was where do I find the most value? I'll give you a couple talking points on that, a couple bullet points on it. Number one was forcing myself out of my comfort zone. Dude, that was a different room than I had been in, a different environment. Every mastermind's a little different, right?
Yeah.
Every mastermind's a little different. So literally every mastermind, like, you don't know what to expect going in. I like to know what to expect going in. Human beings like to know what to expect going in.
Like a heads up, for
Give
sure.
me a GD itinerary.
Yeah.
Let me know what to wear, what to show up with, who's going to be there, but it's not how it works, you know? So it gets me out of my comfort zone. that's great for me. I want to try to do that as much as possible. I'm trying to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's just, it's not, it's part of what we teach, you know? So I try to do that all the time. The other side of that though was the confidence I gained from being invited to a room like that. I very much stay in my own lane a lot of the times. You know, I definitely don't try to be braggadocious, or I don't know. I don't. So a lot of the times do you know what I do, dude? I down credit or downplay the success that we've had. That's what I do a lot of the times. Yeah. Why do I do that? Well, because in my mind, right, this vision of who I want to be massively successful, but I also want to be a man of the people. Yeah. You know, like no matter how much wealth I acquire, I never want that to change me. I want that. I want to change. Yeah. Right? I mean, we're always looking to change, but I don't want it to change me to my core. Right.
Yeah. Like values, who you are as a person. Yeah.
And we talked about this actually falls in line with some of the stuff we were talking about last week, which was as Britt, you know, I'm having this conversation with Britt, and I'm literally asking myself, I'm getting these doubts, this kickback. It's like, am I? Is this, you know, am I being outlandish? I'm always checking in. So it's that fine line. But dude, I'll tell you, being there, I was like, yeah, I am that fucking dude. Like, okay, let's go. Yeah. And what did you text me the day before?
That you're fucking him is what I think I said.
So here's another takeaway, man. Get yourself surrounded with people that believe in you, that cheer for you, you know? Like, dude, you want to know why I'm that dude? Because I got people like you that tell me I'm that dude.
It's not just me, but
no,
dude, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
You're a big component of it. Everyone in our organization, man, I am who I am, and I'm in a room like that because of them. It ain't me. I feel very blessed and grateful to be in that room, but you guys elevate me to that position, and I'm super grateful for that. So that was like a big takeaway from mine, right? But what's interesting is anytime that I go into there, I love to learn. I told you, and networking is the part that I don't necessarily. I love people. That's what's weird about it. I love people, but it's just that's the uncomfortable part for whatever reason. Okay, but that's where the value is, man. The value is not from the presenter; it's from the people in the room. That's where the value is. Like you want to go and you want to grow. But people, I think people miss that though, dude. People miss that. They go and I miss that. I've missed that so many times, bro. Where I go and I'm taking these notes from presenters, but I forget to get outside my zone and connect with the people in the room. And when I do that, when I really do that, bro, my belief is enhanced. My confidence is enhanced. I get these little takeaways that are like, oh shit, I don't think anybody else even heard that. Yeah. But that's going to make me millions of dollars, you know, like literally these little things like, oh man, geez. Like the value is within the people in the room. You got to remember that in any mastermind you ever go to. And anyway, yeah.
Dude, it's one of those things that you were constantly talking about is how you talk about how the multifamily business is a business based on relationships. It's a relationship-based business. Yeah. Dude, the more I learn and the more I grow, everything is relationship-based. Not just, you know what I mean? So you're talking about this, and it wasn't just multifamily people in this $2 billion room, but you're talking about these relationships being the most valuable thing that you learned from this weekend. Yeah. So just trying to wrap that back up to with those teachings that you're always talking about is like, building those relationships, that's where true value comes from. Yep. Not only because of the potential business partnerships and the money that could be made, but like building those relationships is what gives you gratitude and like joy in life. Yeah. Whether you make a business move with them or not, it's just relationships are like, it's that like glue that keeps you going. It's like why you want to do things because you make these strong relationships.
But dude, that's what propels you. I know that that's what's interesting. Like I know that in the multifamily space, but how many people do I really collaborate with from our other businesses that are in? Not a ton, dude. Yeah. I'm just kind of like I put my head down and I grind. But what I should be doing, like think about this, man. How many podcasts do I go do? Not a ton. I mean, I don't know. Not a ton. Yeah, not a ton. Why? Because I never reach out to have people on our podcast, and I never reach out to be on somebody else's podcast. I never do. Yeah. I'm grinding. We're getting stuff done. We're working on our business, but really like. What an amazing infrastructure we have to be able to provide value to other people. That's what I'm thinking of when I'm there and what I'm thinking about right now. It's like, and what did I say? We talked about this, man. We're going to start having more guests on here. Why? Well, because, dude, there's amazing people out there, man, that can have, gosh, man, such an impact on us. And we can give them this platform of like these amazing listeners that we have on our, dude, shit. Let's freaking let these people pour into our people, you know?
And pour into them, vice versa.
Yeah.
To give them the opportunity to do so. No, I'm right there with you. I want to circle back to one of the things you said. One of the main, most valuable things that you learned was you kind of talked about how you kind of like went down the path of Grant, being like, you like Grant, you like what he does, he posts a lot of people might, that point that you made. I can't remember if we talked about it on our last episode or if it was just a conversation that you and I had about humility.
Yeah.
And how I want to dive there. I want to go there, and I kind of want you to explain the kind of same thing that you explained to me about humility.
Yeah.
Humility, because you were kind of talking about downplaying the success of the businesses.
So check this out. I'm going to pull it up, bro.
Okay.
They are talking at that event. They're like, how many of you would consider yourself a humble person? Well, is that not in line with my identity?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. He's like, pull up. By the way, their media people there were crazy, man. Like literally, Grant would be talking. We didn't have slides. Grant would be talking about something, and his media person is like literally like pulls it up immediately. It was crazy.
It's awesome.
It was awesome, dude. It was legit. So Grant didn't even say pull it up. He's like, the definition of humble. Let me tell you what the definition of humble is. And he's like, it goes something like, oh shit, Johnny just pulled it up on the screen here. You know, it was freaking crazy.
It's awesome.
But it was what it is. Having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. Having or showing a modest or low estimates of one's own importance. Number 2, a low social, administrative, or political rank. Those definitions are shitty, dude.
Yeah.
You view yourself in a lower standard than you really are. You don't see yourself as your true potential. Now, but can I politely disagree with the definition?
Sure.
Who the fuck defines that that's what humble means? Who's Webster? Guy sounds like a freaking tool anyway, you know?
Yeah.
But like, listen, like, but our word's important.
Absolutely.
Bro, I was talking to Rowan, who was in here. And Rowan is so sharp, man.
So
I loved having her in and on board. And Rowan, if you're listening to this,
she's listening.
I know she is.
Yeah,
she is, man. And you're awesome. I learned so much from Rowan every single time. And she said something along the lines of this. She's like, man, words are so important but people miss that. She's like, we think that real growth comes from the work, and sure, you have to work. But she's like, think about the Bible. She's like, God created the world not by working, but through his words. He said, let there be light. Like that's a very passive statement, but it's direct, and it's his words, right? The words are powerful is what she was saying, right? So words are powerful, but how do we define the word? Well, a lot of the times, this is absolutely how I define that word. I'll tell you how I want to define humble is somebody who's open and learning more, knowing that they don't know it all.
Yeah.
I know that I don't know it all, and that keeps me open, humble enough to continue to learn and grow, right?
Yeah.
But you also need confidence, dude. You need to know that you're that fucking dude. You need to walk in a room and have that swag. You're the baddest motherfucker in the room.
Right.
And bro, I don't carry that with me very often, especially in a room like that. Why? Because I'm like, man, I know what I've done. I told you how much revenue was done in that room.
$2 billion.
$2 billion. Do you know how much of that we've produced?
What do you mean we've?
Our companies?
No. I don't know the exact.
I actually underestimated it there.
Okay.
I did the calculations. That's why I was asking you those numbers.
Yeah.
70 million of revenue, 90 million of properties. So 70 million in revenue, 90 million in properties. I'll let you guys out there do the math on that. Big chunk. It's a huge chunk. I'm that motherfucking dude. We are those motherfucking dudes. Yeah. But I go in there and what do? I want to be humble. I don't know who these people, what they've done. And it's like, I want to pour into them. I don't want to seem braggadocious. You can be confident without being braggadocious.
Sure.
This is going to be a new motto of mine, bro.
Yeah.
Because I go in there and I see these people in there that these people, bro, these people that you look up to, these people that you want to be like, they're the same. they're no different, dude. They're no different. No matter what, the higher I climb, the more connections that I get. I'm like, dude, people are people.
Yeah.
But that's why I love being in these rooms, man. It reminds me of like, no, dude, you're doing great things. We are doing great things. And that's okay. That's okay to be like,
proud of that.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Man, what makes us special is the fact that we understand that we can do freaking huge things, man.
Yeah.
Like, and not to downplay that. Don't downplay shit. Like, I'm talking to Rowan as well, and she said, I can't even remember what she said now. She said something like, if someone were to tell me that they don't think they can do something, I can't remember what it was, and I'd be like, no, man, you have infinite power. And I'd be like, abso-freaking-lutely, yeah, dude. She's like we're talking about how we pour into people. Like, no, dude, you can accomplish anything. You have infinite power, more than you think you can accomplish. And she's like yourself, man, you've accomplished way more than I ever have. And like, man, and I was like, well, I mean, it's not, no, but listen. And I started to downplay it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do I default to that?
Yeah.
No, dude, be like, thank you, man. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been hard work, dude.
Yeah.
I just posted a video yesterday. It's like, man, it's a grind.
It's a grind.
It's been a grind, dude, but there's purpose behind the grind. But you know what helps recognize that purpose? Listen, and this is powerful. You know what helps recognize that purpose? Recognize that you deserve it, man. You absolutely deserve it.
Worthy of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't doubt that freaking ever. And going into these rooms and seeing these people who are freaking high performers, they know they're worthy of it.
Yeah.
And how are they worthy of it? Well, because they put in the work. They give opportunities to people. They're in the room, dude. When you're in the room, listen, man, you're doing something.
Dude, so powerful what you just shared. So powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. I know I kind of put you on the spot there. So thank you, dude. So powerful. Dude, I guess my follow-up question would be is why do you think people don't attend more masterminds? Why don't people attend
It's so
those?
funny, man, because I love that question. And I think it's because people believe we have mastermind. We have our Ho'onui group, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our mastermind that we're putting together. And it's interesting because when I talk about it, I feel like people think like sometimes I'm like trying to sell them on our mastermind. Sure, I want people to come to our mastermind. People will come to our mastermind. I'm trying to sell you on masterminds. You need to get in the room. How do I know that? Why do I preach that? Because do you know if you asked me a learning lesson along this journey, Jay, it's being in that room quicker. It's being in rooms like that quicker. I didn't do that, man. I put my head down and I grind. And listen, we've been able to do a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But man, expand your reach. I should have been doing that way before I started getting in rooms like that. Way before.
Think bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And what do every time I go to an event like that, what do I come home thinking?
Thinking bigger, dude. You're just amped. You're
Amped.
just pumped up, dude. And you come, not only that though, but dude, you come back with strategy and technique and other very valuable things as well.
Dude, it's hard sometimes to stay motivated, bro. Like, it just is. Like, it's hard to stay motivated because a lot of the times, dude, I look at what we've done and it's like, man, you probably don't even, maybe you know this, but I don't even know if we've ever even had this conversation. But maybe we have. I don't know. You have to tell me.
Okay.
But there's literally a lot where I'm like, man, why am I working so hard? Like, what am I doing? Why am I here and not like?
We've talked about it for sure.
Because, dude, do I need to be here right now recording this? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Either do you.
No.
But why are we here? Well, because, man, someone needs to hear it. Somebody needs to hear it. The only reason we want people to share is because we want people to hear it, dude. We want people, whatever it is, these little takeaways that somebody's going to take. Just like what I just said, the power is in the people in the room. Mm-hmm. That's the power. What if those people didn't talk about what they did? This is a takeaway for me. This is where
that's such a good point, dude.
Because, dude, what was I not doing? I wasn't talking about what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because what we do, we fucking kill it.
Yeah.
We're doing more. I'm just telling you, man, than those people in the room. Those people, they just have no idea what I'm doing. And I don't want it. I don't want it to be like, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Well, let me tell you what I'm doing. But do you know what that does? That inspires, dude. They're like, what? Holy cow, tell me about this. Tell me about it. How do I know that? Because that's how I feel about what they're doing, and what they're doing is great. But we're at a level I'm doing it right now where I'm downplaying it, right? Yeah. Even literally right now as I'm saying it because it sounds braggadocious. But we've done crazy shit.
Yeah.
Somebody who hasn't even done that much, I'm being inspired by what they're doing. Why do I not share? So you talked about humble. You talked about sharing. One of the things that I realize more and more is from the weekend as well, a huge takeaway is that that inspires people, dude, to share it. People are going to judge you no matter what. If you're prideful, they're going to judge you. If you're humble, they're going to judge you. They're going to judge you no matter what, man. Mm-hmm. That's not who you're after. What you're at, you can't control what resonates. You can't control what's out there. All you can do is put it out there for those who it does resonate with.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put it out there, man, nobody will know. Another big takeaway is that Grant Cardone is a billionaire in a room pouring into other people. Do you know?
It doesn't happen.
I just told you it's hard for me to stay motivated. Imagine how hard it is for him to stay motivated. He is at another level, dude, a way another level.
Yeah.
But it's because of the purpose, because of the people. It's like because of his upbringing. Because that's why you can tell it, you can see it, dude.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Dude, it comes back, like we talked about this, but like what keeps coming back to me as you're talking about doing all these things, putting yourself out there, explaining what it is that you have done, how you've done it, inspiring others to do that, dude. It all comes back to why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Always, dude. Because if your motives, right, if your motives were to do all of this just for selfish gains,
then I'd be done.
You'd be done, dude. You wouldn't be sharing it with people.
I'd be out.
But the same thing for all the people in that room as well.
Yep.
They would just be done. They wouldn't even show up that weekend.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have to have that intention. And when you have that intention, we could talk about like law of attraction, dude. You're going to attract other people who have those super strong intentions as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those motives. And then you're going to be obviously in these rooms, the $2 billion rooms with like-minded individuals.
Totally.
So it all comes back to all of these things that you're talking about. This is what my takeaway right now is. You have to have that pure intention. You have to.
Yep.
Because then that's how these opportunities and these things are going to continue to grow and compound and be presented to you.
Totally, dude. Totally. So you have to get very clear on what that intention is. Once again, define it. Like literally define what is the intention.
Yeah,
if
dude.
Not,
can I ask you?
Yeah.
What's your intention, dude?
With what?
Let's start with multifamily mindset. What's your intention with multifamily mindset?
To enhance belief, dude. To literally just enhance belief. Like, I had no idea that what we do is possible, buying apartments. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And when I found out about it, and the time that I found out about it, it changed my life, dude. Like literally changed my life. And now but it changed my life. And so it's like here's how I relate it. When you like eat a piece of dessert, and it's good. Well, you just motor it down. But when it's like, holy shit.
The best dessert you've
ever
had.
Holy, you got to try this. No, I don't care if you're on a diet or not. Take one bite. That shit is legit. That's how I feel,
Yeah.
So why do I want to do that? Because somebody enhanced my belief, and every day other people enhance my belief. Selfish as if I don't share that. Super selfish. Also, I love people, man. I love people. And I am naturally a recluse. I am. I would never throw parties at the house. I'm telling you, I'm naturally a recluse. Brittany is great for me on a personal level, our family personal relationships, because she does what?
She's not a recluse.
No, dude, she throws parties
all
the time, all the time. That's great for me. And I love them every single time, dude. Every time. Same thing with with doing what we do here. You know what? I was talking to Rowan as well. She's like, man, you got all these things on your plate. And we're listening to them out. She's like, which ones can we take off your plate? And one of the things that she thinks that should take off my plate is, really the connection with students and doing events. And I was like, man, that's what energizes me though. Like that's what fuels me. Like that's why if I take that off, I don't know if I want to do this business, And it was funny because then I went home to Britt and I was like, yeah, man, we're talking about this. And man, traveling it's doing those events is a lot. And she's like, that ain't what take off. Can you imagine not doing those events? That's what fuels you. Can you imagine only doing the other stuff? And that, no, that's not an option, right? And I was like, well, I'm gone a lot. She's like, yeah, you're gone getting re-energized. I was like, I freaking love you.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Okay, dude, thank you so much for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Dude, so many takeaways just from what you've shared so far. one of the last question I want to ask you is, what were the biggest takeaways?
Yeah.
I know you took notes, and I know you probably already know that, so it should be an easy question for you.
Sure.
So, dude, what were the biggest takeaways from being in that $2 billion room?
First off, biggest takeaway from last drip that we did, though, can I do that first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that it wasn't Pineapple Express. Shit.
You're right.
It was. I don't know why that just came to my mind, but it was super bad. So we had in the very beginning we talked about nobody's got a hand job in cargo shorts since Nam. We thought it was Pineapple Express, and the best thing is like you said Pineapple Express. I'm like, yep, think you're right. In my mind, I'm like, but I did think you were right.
I thought I was right too.
Shout out to Strap for doing some research and figuring out it was super bad. Okay, so my biggest takeaway, honestly, one of my biggest takeaways was we talked about the people in the room, but dude, it was the power of multifamily investing. Like, dude, literally, it's unbelievable the potential that this industry has, and it was so fun for me because it wasn't a multifamily event,
right?
But Grant is talking a ton about multifamily, dude, and I'm like the only other dude, really, a couple, maybe one or two, if I'm thinking about, but really, the only one who truly knows what he's talking about, dude. It's what we do. It's unreal, dude, the potential and just. The reason that we've been able to, we talk about the revenue numbers and those kind of things, dude. It's because of multifamily, dude. It's a big animal, man, that anybody can tap into.
Dude, Grant wouldn't have been able to put together a $2 billion room if it wasn't for multifamily real estate, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like the power of multifamily. We're going to dive into some other aspects here, dude. But that alone.
Totally.
To have that type of influence and have that type of impact on all these other very high-level individuals was because of multifamily real estate is what put him in that position.
Okay, but do you know what's interesting? He asked a question at the event. He said, how many of you know me as a salesperson? And a bunch of people raised their hand. How many of you know me as a marketer, the marketing guy? A bunch of people raised their hand. How many of you know me as the real estate guy? Very few people raised their hand. It was a marketing room. There was multiple people in that room that didn't know him as that dude. They knew him as the marketing sales person. I know Grant as a real estate guy. Yeah. That's what I know him as. So I was like, holy shit. It was interesting to me, right?
It's because his marketing's so good, that's how you know him as a real estate guy.
Yep.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible, okay?
Yeah.
But to your point, though, because you said that he wouldn't have been able to put together a room like this without multifamily, and that's a fact, and that's what he's saying. He's like, Grant isn't a billionaire because of sales and marketing. Grant is a billionaire because of multifamily real estate, dude. That's why he's a billionaire. That's what I'm saying. Like, the potential behind it is crazy. Like, I look at these high income earners, the high income earners in the room, man, and how, they're making a lot of money, right? But what happens when that stream dies down? Because that's how most businesses work. They got big ups, you can produce, but then there is some lag time on it. There's some times where things, the market corrects as far as like the demand for that product, right? That's how it works. Mm-hmm. Multifamily is a different animal, dude. It's just a different animal. Like when I make money and I convert that money into real estate, that is a hard asset. I take, worthless money, put it into real estate, and that's a hard asset. You cannot take that from me, dude. Right. Literally, you can't take it from me. What happens if there's a fire, Tyler? I have insurance. You can't take it from me, dude. And when I get insurance, what do? They rebuild them. A hard asset. Now I got a brand new one. Burn the motherfucker down. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's powerful. And every time I'm in rooms like that with people who, I know the power, but anytime that I'm in a room with people that don't know that avenue, it reminds me more and more like, holy shit, man, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful because for what I know, because what was my background before? Social media, internet marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, not to the level that those people were in that room, but that was my background. Bro, I ain't in that room if that's the vehicle that I took. I'm just telling you that right now. It's multifamily investing, right? Like I just even look at the tax benefits. It was funny because Grant was starting to talk about tax benefits.
Yeah.
And the day before the first class, went on the helicopter, Grant's helicopter, which was legit, dude. I don't even know if we talked about this, but
let's talk about it really quick.
Two jet engines. It's jet engines first off, not like it's jet engines.
In this helicopter?
Yes.
Wow.
2 pilots. If you've ever been on a regular helicopter, you wear these headphones. It's loud. No, dude, it's like a cocoon in this thing. You can talk like me and you were talking.
Wow.
No, like you can't hear dude, it was incredible.
Power multifamily.
It was incredible. And But we're on there, and I started talking to one of the guys about I can't even remember how it got brought up, but taxes, you know?
Huh.
And I'm telling him how it works. And he's like, are you what? You're shitting me. I was like, no, dude, that's how it works. He's like, well, I have some single family stuff, but single family, dude, single family is a sliver of a tax reduction. Has a sliver of a tax reduction.
Yeah. Isn't it an expense at the end of the year for single family? Taxes?
It's just what? Oh, like you mean that they pay taxes?
They end up, on single family
most
stuff.
people do pay taxes.
That's what I'm saying.
Jay.
Yeah.
I was telling him though, this is what I'm saying. It's like, dude, my entire apartment is a tax reduction. Like literally all of it. Like the parking lot, the roof, the shutters, the cabinets we put in, all of it. And I don't even pay for those things. My tenants pay for those things, but we get to write those things off. So that's why I don't pay taxes. It's how it works, dude. It's like it's interesting because really, this is the question that everybody should be asking. The question everybody should be asking is like, man, what am I doing with my money? What am I doing with my money? Because what do I do with my money? I take it and I convert it into real estate. And what does that mean? That means I have a hard asset. It means I make more money. And it also means I pay less in taxes. It means that I pay less in taxes than probably any low income earner listening to this. Than the low, let alone the high income earners.
Yeah.
The low income earners. Why? Because I have lots of write-offs, dude. So it's single family, dude. It's more risk. There's less tax deductions. There's less cash flow. There's less appreciation. And there's definitely less appreciation, especially when we're in inflationary periods like we're in right now. So dude, just the power of multifamily, biggest takeaway. I know that sounds funny, but that was like just a reminder.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Number two was how, and it goes a lot. I would say people just need to invest. Once again, I'm in this room with a bunch of people who make great money, and that they just don't know how to create wealth with that. They're making awesome money, dude, but they just don't know how to create wealth with it. And you can almost see this, almost kind of like a stress about it, you know, like how do I make sure that I take care of my family for generations? And so once again, just it's anybody who's listening to this. I know we have a bunch of people within our network who listen to this who are nervous to raise money or nervous that, you know, to have those conversations. Dude, I'm just telling you right now, what we do is so damn valuable. Those people literally need to put their money to work, man. They need to put their money to work. You should never be. Every single person listening to this should invest in our fund. Every single person listening to this who invests actively should still invest in our fund. And they should also go talk to people about investing because, man, it is powerful. This is some of the most privileged investments on the planet offered to people like me and you who, dude, I don't have a privileged background.
No, nor do I.
But I own some of the most privileged real estate because I learned how to do it. I learned that it was possible, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's going to be I've got an episode idea just from what you said.
Sweet.
And we'll come back to it. But I think a really powerful episode that can come back in there. What else, dude? One more. Give me one more big takeaway from the room.
The power of perception.
Interesting.
Power of perception. How powerful that is to our success and our growth. It was a pretty interesting experience that we had, or that I had in there. And Grant is talking about what he does in multifamily. And he tells this guy named Nehemiah Davis. Nehemiah Davis, if you don't follow him or know who he is, you should go follow him and know who he is, dude. His whole, they're awesome, dude. They're amazing people. I was able to meet with them. They're just like ass kickers, bro. But Grant at one point literally says to Nehemiah, he says, what he's saying is that people can't do what he does, meaning on the real estate side. He's like, listen, man, it's a $60 million building. Even if you and I bought the same asset, we're going to outperform. I'm going to outperform you. But they won't even answer your phone calls. And then he goes to Nehemiah Davis. He says, you definitely can't do it. You're black. They won't even answer your phone call. You're black. That's what he says, dude. And I was like, what the fuck? I literally was like,
fuck that. Yeah.
But what would most people do with that comment?
What would the receiver of that person? They would probably be upset and snap back, maybe even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd be deflated?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe I can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't do this or find a million other excuses why they can't.
Yeah. And what Grant's saying is that this industry is a bunch of old white dudes, and he's talking about a Blackstone, a BlackRock. That's what he's talking about. That was what I just said is out of context because that's what he's talking about. He is talking about the same shit that he hates, which is Blackstone, BlackRock, these big organizations. I mean, fuck, dude, BlackRock just wrote off a loss of 1.7 trillion.
What?
Trillion. They just lost $1.7 trillion. Have you heard about it?
No.
Do you see it in the headlines?
No.
Do you see it in the news? Can you imagine if another company lost $1.7 trillion? But, dude, that's what he's saying. So I want to put that into context.
Sure.
But I know how a lot of people would take that. But Nehemiah Davis is special because his perspective is different, dude. He's locked in. Like, I went to go chat with him after. And
listen,
not
sorry to interrupt you, but listen to this part. This is super powerful. Ty shared this with me, and it's very powerful. Sorry, Ty, go ahead.
And not even about that. I was talking to him about, they had talked about their podcast, which is a social proof. It's not his, but he's on it a bunch. That's the Social Proof podcast, which you should subscribe to that too, man. It's a great podcast. And so I'm talking to him about that. And then he asked me what I do. I talked about multifamily, and he's like, oh man, dude, what did you think of Grant's comment before lunch? Because it was like after lunch, and he said it right before lunch. And I was like, fuck, bro. I hated that freaking comment. It's bullshit, man. He's like, oh, fuck, bro. I know. Because let me tell you his demeanor when Grant said it.
Yeah.
It was like this. If you're watching on YouTube, he was like this. It didn't even faze him. He literally
Grant
did this.
Cardone? To Grant Cardone.
Yes. Well, a lot of people, Grant Cardone.
yeah, but in his face, literally.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely. No, but like, that's what I'm saying, dude. A lot of people in that room did.
That's awesome.
Like multiple times. Not because, this is not a knock on Grant. It's because they're just confident in what their stance is. Nehemiah Davis is the same way, dude.
So powerful.
He's early 30s. I think he's early 30s. Nehemiah is. And I'm talking to him, and he's like, dude, I know I can do it. Bro, I already own 700 units. Grant doesn't even know that. I'm pissed because it's like, why? I can't even believe, like, it's how it was said, you know? He's like, nobody's going to tell me what I can and can't do. I know what I can fucking do. I know what I can do, dude. And I'm like, bro, you're a freaking stud, man. I'm like, I loved it, man. I literally just loved his take on it because so many people buy into that narrative, dude. And I know that was taken out of context. I know that that's not what Grant meant. I want to be that clear because Grant is the farthest thing from a racist. He's not racist, dude. Like, he's just not. Go look at any of his stuff. Grant's a freaking stud. It was the comment in the moment that could have been completely taken out of character. But Nehemiah Davis knows who he is and what he's capable of, dude. And that's why he's been able to do the things that he's done, man.
Why he was invited to that room.
Like, dude, that guy, I'm telling you, man, I went. I didn't know who Nehemiah was before then, but you better believe that I went and looked that dude up, and that dude's doing big things. He had a whole group of dudes that was there with him, probably 5-6 people, and they're all inspiring people, man. Ass kickers, dude. And so the power of perception. It does not matter if people judge you. It doesn't matter what people say is possible. It doesn't matter what. You got to know what's possible. That's why it's so important all the time that your internal narrative is locked in. Locked in. How do you know that you can do it? Because you made a decision to go do whatever it is you're going to go do. Not because somebody said you can, not because you have some special skill. It's because you're willing to go learn that special skill. You're willing to put in the work. You're willing to grind because you know that you're fully capable because you have the power of perception in your favor instead of against you, right?
I'm so hyped right now. Dude, so powerful.
Yeah,
dude.
It was awesome.
Power of perception.
It was awesome to me.
Such a learning lesson there too, man. Shout out to Nehemiah.
Yeah, totally. I want to get him. I want to collaborate with that guy.
We'll figure it out.
I do.
We'll get him on.
Yeah.
We'll get him on for sure. Ty, thank you so much, man, for kind of highlighting your weekend there in that $2 billion room and like sharing with us what you learned.
Yeah.
It's almost like I was there with you. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you for taking the time to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hawaiian value for today.
You know what, the Hawaiian value, dude, I'll do Ho'onui. Ho'onui is our mastermind group. And Ho'onui, just if you don't know, it's Ho'onui means to grow bigger. Not just think bigger. You got to do that too, but to grow bigger. That's what Ho'onui means. And that's what masterminds allow you to do, man, is to grow bigger. Definitely think bigger. Every time I leave one of those, I literally think at a bigger scale. My view of what's possible is enhanced. But man, to grow bigger, So ho'onui, man, to grow bigger, to just be in every aspect of your life, dude, spiritually, mentally, physically, intellectually, like to grow bigger.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people. Get in that fucking room that helps you do that.
Yeah.
So ho'onui.
Can I add another one?
Yeah.
Can we have two
Heck yes, dude.
Hawaiian values?
You can never have too many.
So, dude, the one that I wanted to talk about that kind of came to mind as you were speaking, dude, and as we've kind of talked about, we've talked on and off about this past weekend that you went to for about a week now, and one of the things that you kept talking about, or that I kept getting from you as we were kind of talking about it, was the aloha value, or the Hawaiian value, is ahanui.
Okay.
So not ho'onui, but ahanui.
Okay.
And it means patience.
Hey, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So quick question. How long have you been doing multifamily real estate? I know, but just for the people, how long have you been doing multifamily real estate?
Since 2014.
7?
So
That's
it's
7?
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
So 8 years. That's 8 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that you were invited into this room.
To that room, yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, that's what I wanted to pull out is patience, dude.
Yeah.
You and I were at very different phases of life. We're at very different phases of life. We also have a pretty large age gap, but
Get the fuck out of here.
we're
You son of a bitch. I'm having ahanui right now. I'm about to reach over and smack you off your gosh damn chair.
no, but as I like, a lot of times I know for myself, I want to compare myself to those people that are out in front of me,
Yeah.
and I want to be there already. You know what I mean? I want to skip. I don't not necessarily want to skip, but I just want it so bad.
Yeah.
So it's so important to remember to have patience, be in the season that you're in now.
Yeah.
And it will eventually change, and you'll eventually grow, and it'll be a new season, and you'll learn new things, and you'll be in these rooms if you continue down the path and you have that patience, that ahanui. So that's what I wanted to add.
Let me put this into perspective
Yeah.
for you. I love that, bro, because it does, man. It's this confident patience with direction,
Yeah.
knowing that you're going to get there and more. So you keep taking the steps. So first thing that I did when I got there, like first event, if you will, first activity was go on the helicopter.
Yeah.
And I met Andres, who's Grant's head of investor relations. And he asked what I do. I tell him what I do. He's like, oh, so sweet, man. How much do you own? And I tell him how much we own, right around 3,000 units, just under, I can never remember the number, but I don't know, 400 million, 350 million, something like that of real estate. And he's like, oh, man, that's awesome. I'm a man. It's not, thank you. It's not where you guys are at, man. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. He's like, listen, bro, do you know how much real estate, how old are you? I was like 37. He's like, do you know how much real estate Grant owned when he was 37? Not even close to how much real estate you own. Those are big numbers. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you this, bro. You're how old?
27. 28. Just turned 28.
If you were to look at me when I was 28 years old,
Yeah.
I promise you were in a better position than I was
Wow.
at 28 years old.
Yeah.
I promise you. I know that because I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, that patience is amazing. You know what I want? I want you to be in that room and surpass everything that I've done earlier than I did. I want everyone to do it quicker than I did it. That's why we teach it,
Right.
is so that people can do it quicker than I did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, dude. Thank you. So kind.
Yeah.
But also for everybody listening, just like think back a little bit. Think back 6 months even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And recognize that growth. Recognize, take a minute. Be patient with yourself and recognize where you've been.
Yeah.
Ty's had to call me out multiple times on that when I get frustrated with myself, when I want to be this, when I want to do that, when I want to be here. To just check yourself a little bit and see how much you've grown.
Yeah.
You'll be so grateful, and so you'll just feel so much love for yourself.
Yep.
To
It's
take
huge.
that time. Have
That's
patience
huge.
for yourself.
I
Thank
love
you,
that,
dude.
bro.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely.
Thank
Hey,
you, dude.
ho'onui, grow bigger, and ahanui.
Yeah.
Ahanui. Have patience along the way, man. I love that, dude. Thank you for that, bro.
Of course, dude.
Thank y'all for listening. Go share, rate, review, tag, all the shit you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then also live always with aloha. Peace.